Well, today I'm going to prove to you or tell you how I have not been a poor, broke, disabled man all of my life. You see, I started working when I was 14 years old. For you locals, or people my age, I was at a restaurant, Chicken Manor. I started when I was 14, and I worked there for 8 years. Then I moved on to a few more restaurants that didn't quite work out for me, but I spent a little time in them. And my dad got a bright idea, thinking, well, George knows how to run restaurants, so we'll open a restaurant. No, that was a money pit, poor mistake, which I would never want to repeat. Then I got hooked up at McKesson Drug Company. I started there as a temporary delivery driver, because they had their own trucks, and you went out and delivered to the mostly independent drugstores and hospitals. And let's see, from McKesson, let's just say, because of their employee stock ownership plan, I had a lot of money to take if I would quit. And quit I did. I took the money. I'll just say I was goofing off for about a whole year. And spent most of the money. But this was at a time when my mother was dying of cancer. So I was able to spend more time with her since I quit the job. But I moved to a house on South Main Street where I had like a vitamin shop in the front, a photography studio in the back. Again, didn't last too long. But after my mom passed, my dad moved in with me. And we were paying rent. And I said, well, you got a perfectly good house where you were. Let's move up there. Because Dad couldn't do laundry. Dad couldn't cook more than a couple basic things. Dad did not want to take care of the finances. He didn't know nothing about washing clothes. So let's just say I moved in with him to take care of him, handle all those duties that my mother used to. And came upon December 2003. He was really getting short-winded. I kind of blame myself because I did not recognize what was going on. And he didn't recognize it either. He just getting shorter of breath and shorter of breath. And I think I suggested a doctor probably a couple times, but he refused to go. And Christmas was a Christmas day. I made a feast, ham, mashed potatoes, gravy, green bean casserole, you name it, we had it. Except no turkey, none of us like turkey. But shortly after we ate, I got a phone call from a cousin. And this cousin stated that her boyfriend had died like yesterday or the day before. So I went over to visit with her and spend some time with her, because of her loss. And after that, I come back home and we heated up leftovers and we had a feast. Dad was just happy as could be eating all that food. And went to bed. And I had to get up. I don't know, it must have been 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom. And he's standing in there shaving. I said, "What are you doing?" And he says, call an ambulance. So I called the ambulance. And I followed along in the car. Here his lungs were full of fluid. He was suffering from congestive heart failure. So they had the tubes and everything in him trying to drain the liquid. But ultimately, they weren't able to help him. And he passed early in the morning on the 26th of December. So prior to him passing, he was always trying to hustle on the side. He started, he joined one of those MLMs, multi-level marketing, like a lot of people like to call them pyramids. And, he asked me for my help. Rather than going to work, I would help him. And we were making good money. We really were. And that slowly dwindled after our dad passed. And I, being an idiot, said, "Well, I'm getting a job." They wanted to foreclose on the house, but I put it up for auction, paid it off, and went together with my cousin, and we bought a duplex together. So I live on one side, and she lived on the other. So it was going okay. Then the neighbor of that duplex, which we shared a party drive with, he was an old man, and he decided to sell. So me and my cousin bought it. And I was over there doing renovation work on it. And at this time, I had started working at Lowe's and started to get some really hellacious deals on stuff. But about 3/4 of the way of the renovation of this house, my cousin decides her and her boyfriend want to live over in the house instead of in the duplex. Okay, go ahead. And, we had almost $1,000 a month payment on a duplex. And I forget what the house was. It was $400 or $500, $600 maybe. And we had both fallen behind. I fell behind on the duplex. She fell behind on the house. But, I worked my ass off, and I caught up to duplex. I was up to date. And I was talking to her on the phone. And told her, I'm up to date. And she was talking about leaving. I said, "Well, you can't leave if you still owe money. If you're behind, you can't leave me in that situation." And her boyfriend at the time was a alcoholic, because that's all she dates. It's alcoholics. He said, "Oh, George, we would never do that to you. But they did do it to me. So after they moved out, I moved over to the house. And my cousin, by the way, went and filed bankruptcy, so I was stuck with everything. So I let the duplex go. I didn't pay for it. I was paying for the house only. And that's when I got married. Got married in that house. And I don't know, maybe a year into the marriage, my wife says, I want to get a different house. So quit paying on this one. So she was getting money from a house that she sold in Poland, the country of Poland. And well, that was just enough money to buy a house. I was 2 doors down from one of the houses I grew up in. It was on 11th Street and Monument, right by the park. And 2 houses up is where I lived as a child. I thought that was all pretty neat. And let's just say I was forced to leave Lowe's. It didn't matter much anymore because they quit paying commissions on sales. That was my bread and butter. I was a good salesperson there. So, my wife wants to go to school to be a nurse. So, I go with her. And who gets talked into going to school? Me. So I started taking Windows Server courses, for computer networking. And I got a degree in it, associate's degree. And at the time I was going to school, we were taking care of a large event center. It's about 5,000 square feet, thereabouts. They had bingo 4 nights a week. They had an auction 1 night a week, and they'd have various wedding receptions or parties on the weekends, which my wife and I and a boy that we hired, we'd always be setting up tables and chairs, taking them down, cleaning, of course. So we did that for 2 years. And once I graduated, the technology field kind of let me down. I could not find an entry-level position that would pay me enough to live on. So I went to freight. They didn't pay me great either. I think I started at $14 an hour for my first year, and every year I got $1 raise until I topped out at $18. And dock work's rough work. You're exposed to all the elements outside. And if it's cold, it's even colder on the dock. If it's hot, it's even hotter on the dock. Especially in the summertime, you got 60, 70 forklifts running around, hot exhaust. It was a tough job. I worked a lot of 10, 12, 14-hour days. I don't think I ever did the 16-hour day. But no, I wouldn't do that. And I also didn't work a 7th day. I only worked 6 days. But once I topped out, I got my CDL and started driving semi. I did that for just shy of 5 years because the company closed up. But that was the most money I've ever made in my life. And today I'm fortunate because my Social Security is based on those 5 years of driving. But unfortunately, I get what I do in Social Security, but yeah, it could be more. I still struggle. Like my electric is scheduled for shut off on, I think, September 3rd. I'll get paid at the end of August, so I'll pay it, and I'll still be running a month behind. But yeah, I worked hard over the years. I ran probably 500. No, I would say about 300 350,000 miles while I was driving. I avoided the snow like a plague. I didn't like it. But I did get caught in it a few times. And, I survived, and so did the truck. And the company wanted to change the whole way we operate. And we were Teamsters. We were unionized. So when they submitted the changes they wanted, the company, the union said, no, absolutely not. So the company made, 2 or 3 different pitches. Every time the Teamster said no. So Yellow Freight closed the doors on July 31st. I think I was the last driver to finish because the only car in the parking lot was mine when I pulled in. I'd gone to Pittsburgh and Altoona and back. But, yeah, I've always worked. I never sat around on my butt just taking it easy. Except for now. I would like to get outside and walk more. But it's too hot for me. I melt. I get wet. Everything is soaked. So I'm looking forward to a little bit cooler weather. September's usually pretty hot, but I hope it's kind of a not so hot September this year so I can get some exercise in. I started at Nixodine. No more nicotine. At least I'm trying it. This is supposed to hit the same receptors that nicotine hits. So it's not too bad. I can live with it. But I still got to nip a little nicotine every once in a while. So once I get that beat, I can be on this stuff for 6 weeks. And then I can go take a urine test to prove to the doctor that I'm not on nicotine. And we can schedule my knee replacement surgery. I was pretty convinced I wasn't going to do it when I knew I had to quit nicotine. But this stuff is new. Hardly anybody knows about it yet. It's not in your local vape shops. So I called them, asked about it, and they didn't have it. I walked over the other day. Excuse me. And I talked to the girl about it, and she's going to look into it and give it to her manager and go through the whole chain. We'll see if they get it, because I ordered some, and they're the same price as nicotine juice, $20, but I had to pay $10 to have it delivered. So I don't want to be doing that, because You know, I don't have that much. But, yeah, that's my plans for now. Guess I'm gonna just take it easy with my 2 kittens. Well, not kittens, my 2 cats today. You see Bubba up there on top of the cat tree. And Buddy is over in the chair next to me sleeping. Have a nice quiet day, so they sleep all day long. And then Bubba's got the hormones. So he's crazy yowling all night. Comes walking in the bedroom, making his noise. And, shut up, Bubba. Bubba, get out of here. He shuts up and leaves. Then he comes back again. Shush him, he leaves. But, you know, this will continue 15 times before I fall asleep. But the other one, Buddy, he doesn't have the raging hormones, so he's rather quiet. He's a little bit bigger boy, stockier, but his meow is really high-pitched. It's kind of funny, because this one sounds like a dog growling half the time. And this one just sounds like a little baby. And that's cats, I guess. I adopted cat life once I started living in apartments, because as a truck driver, you can't have dogs staying in your apartment. Cats, then I had 1 gallon water jugs and 1 gallon feeders. I had 2 of each. I'd fill them up before I went on the road. I'd fill up their litter box with fresh litter before I went on the road. And at the end of the week, I'd do it all again. But cats can take care of themselves okay. The dogs need to be walked. Dogs need to go outside. And you know, I've always been a dog man. But I guess I'm a cat man now. But I think that's about all I wanted to cover. Just wanted to let you know that, yes, I did work all my life. And I worked 7, 8 years at McKesson, 8 years at Chicken Manor. I worked, almost 9 years at Lowe's. And I got 9 years in at YRC/Yellow Freight. So, you know, don't think I've been freeloading all my life. This is my first time where I'm not able to work. So, like I mentioned before in previous video, you might be seeing a fundraiser link show up down in the information box or the comments. But rather than send me money, I just ask you to please subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and share it with others you think might find the information valuable. Because I want to make a go of this YouTube channel. And I know I don't have the zeal to just do it on my own. So I need your help. All it takes is tapping a couple buttons, and it helps me out. So please do so. Thank you. And Godspeed to you.